Good morning, good morning, good morning. Week 8 NFL season. What a crappy start of the year. It's crappy start of the week for the Bucks. Good Lord. But anyway, we'll get into the Bucks debacle, I guess, a little later. With me today, I have Brian Robinson, the Packer backer, and Mike Stout, the Cowboy. We'll just leave it alone. How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
I'm doing all right. I'm excited. How you guys, the 3 and 4 guys, doing? You guys all right?
Yeah, we're still in the hunt. I mean,
it's funny you asked that, and you kind of brought up something I kind of wanted to bring up with you guys. Do you think the league's mediocre at best right now?
I think parity has really come into effect because you have the NFC East that was a terrible division for how long, right? So all their teams had top-tier picks. Now you're seeing all those top-tier picks playing. So you have a division now that's actually just ironclad at the present time. And then you have the Packers who have constantly made the playoffs. You have, the Bucks have made it the last 2 years. They hadn't done well before that, so they didn't have real strong leg to stand on. So you got two teams there that just haven't been able to build, right? So I think you're looking at parity finally coming to fruition and the NFC East finally seeing some fruit to their not so good labor.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with, the draft picks, but it also has to do with coaching too. I mean, you got to pick draft picks well too. I mean, look how if we're talking about things coming into fruition, the Lions should be the best team in the NFL. I mean, or the
True.
Browns. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes down to more than just draft picks. It comes down to
you got to be able to build your team.
Yeah, and I'm more impressed this year with the Giants. He's got that team playing really well, which is surprisingly. But I mean, you take a division that has been pretty much god awful for 5 years, and hearing from you guys all last year, 7 and 8 teams going to make the playoffs. Now that could be one of you guys this year. Now it's not. I know. Yeah. But all you guys last year were, they shouldn't even make the playoffs. It should be other teams. So
and they shouldn't. I still believe that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you looked at the NFC West last year. There should have been,
Well, at least, yeah. But look at it this way: if the NFL doesn't change the ruling on how this works, where you automatically get a home game if you win your division. This year, a 7-10 team in the South could win the division and could host a home field game in the playoffs. How are you going to reward a team for being less good, not as good as the team they're playing against? I mean, there's got to be some way to either if you're not going to switch the home field to the better record, then the division champion shouldn't always be in. I don't know what the solution is. I think maybe the best record should host the game, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, the thing is with that, I mean, Bill Parcells was always classic with the term you're as good as what your record says, or you only beat the teams that are on your schedule. I mean, yeah, granted, you look at the league, I mean, a lot of mediocre teams, right? And you only got three, maybe 4 standout teams right now that you could classify as, okay, those guys are legit. I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you seed them correctly, you would see none of the teams in the South truly make it in. You can make the case in the West that a couple teams shouldn't make it. I mean, in the North, I mean, the Vikings are. We still don't know who the Vikings are, and I mean, you got the NFC East who are just they're beating everybody. So, does it? I mean, do they change the way that they, say even if you won your division, if you're 7-10, you shouldn't make the playoffs? I mean, simply put, I mean, it's not fair to the rest of the league where you could be in a tough division, you can finish, 9-7 or 10-6 or 10-7 or whatever, and you can be like out of the playoffs because you're in a tough division. You know,
I totally agree.
Yep. I mean, that's been the biggest complaint for how many years now? I mean, by a lot of people, and they're not going to fix it. They're trying to spread the wealth around to everybody else. And to be honest with you, that 7 and 10 team that hosts a playoff game, they're getting that money the last game of the year, because most of the time they lose. I mean, there hasn't been it's been a while since a team ran the wild card in last place, and what was the Steelers when they won the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah,
I believe, and that's
Giants
just
won the Super Bowl too from that spot as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish they would change it, but I don't think they are. I mean, it's a good topic to talk about, but they're trying to, these owners and stuff, they ain't going to change that because they know how much revenue they're going to lose.
Right.
That 7 and 10 team that has a home game, how much revenue is that for one last playoff game where you could jack up the prices of a playoff ticket? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't like it, but it is what it is,
Right.
So
we know you're on a short schedule. So we have a question at the bottom of the screen. I was trying to wait till we had more people viewing, but I want to at least get your take on this, because you're one of the only teams right now that actually have a chance at going far in the playoffs if we were to start today. But we're 2 days away from the trade deadline. If you're GM of the Dallas Cowboys, what do you do? Do you hold pat? Do you move some people around? Do you see anything out there that you could trade for?
Well, I think they already made a move. I mean, they picked up the tackle from the Raiders, which they needed. They needed somebody else because we're getting
activated him this week, right?
Leatherwood? So I mean, that's the biggest thing in Dan Quinn's defense is rotating the defensive linemen in and out. It's a big thing. So you got to have depth there. There's a reason why we don't have a backup quarterback, sitting on the sidelines. It's because they try to keep the depth on the defense. And then we lost Jordan Lewis. He's out for the year now, which was our nickel corner. And as of right now, I mean, I don't see getting anything for us. I mean, the defense is playing good. Just the offense needs to mesh together well. I mean, and that's part of the problem with Dak being gone after the first game, and Cooper coming in, and then Dak, slowly starting last week. I thought it would pick up a little bit in the fourth quarter, but they're just going to have to mesh well. And then, like this week, Elliott, the last I looked, Elliott was doubtful. I don't think he plays this week, so you're going to see a buttload of Tony Pollard this week to show what he could actually do being somewhat by himself.
Yes, Zeke is out this week.
So it's going to be interesting. Dallas has done – they used to do this all the time. They used to go right before deadline, pick somebody up, and it doesn't work out. And I think with Stephen Jones kind of having more of a word to it, he's wanting to go through the draft and pick good players. And they've done that. They've done that since 2012. They have picked 2010. They've picked up good players in the first round, second round. Every couple years, they'll find a gem in the fourth or fifth round. But I think we just stay where we're at, man. I mean,
you don't see them moving. Let's say even though he's not healthy this week, like an Ezekiel Elliott, to pick up some draft capital or anything like that. There's no one you see them.
I mean, unless they're getting a couple first round picks for it, that's because Jerry's price is always high.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't matter the quality of the player. He's always, if you want this player, you're going to pay me for pretty much the player, and then you're going to compensate me just for asking me that question. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's how he is, though. I mean, Is it a good idea? I don't know. I mean, if a team goes for it,
Right.
But I don't think they move Elliott. I think at the end of the year, they try to restructure his contract to keep Pollard. And I have a feeling that he probably won't. And then that's when you'll see him try to probably go on the trade block if he doesn't restructure his deal.
Right.
But
hey, Stout, I'll give you two names. You tell me if you think that they would even budge to try and make a trade for one of these two players where I feel that the Cowboys have a desperate need at to solidify their good season that they're having this year. First one, DJ Moore.
That's a hard one. I mean, they need it. They need receiving corps.
Here's your second player, and I think this is a need based upon looking at the metrics with their defense and knowing that they do give up quite a bit of running yards. Roquan Smith.
You get to see him live today.
I would take him. I really would. I mean, it all depends how much the Bears are asking for him, too. I mean, if you're looking at getting up, Jerry's not going to get rid of a first-round draft pick. I would be excited to see that happen. But they're really high on that rookie we got this year. And he's doing really well. He's doing well compared to what everybody thought he was going to do. So I think with that, you know, it's more of the system stuff. I don't see him taking it, but I mean, I've been saying it for the last year when they got rid of Cooper, they shouldn't have got rid of him. And that's kind of hurt him this year. And CeeDee Lamb is doing okay. On a lot of teams, he'd be a number one. On some teams, he'd be a number two. So, I mean, wide receiver has been a big thing with me for a while of them finding somebody. So, defensively, I think we're okay. But, I mean, it all depends on – I wouldn't mind having Roquan Smith on the team. I mean, I wouldn't. But – they're not going to give up hefty draft picks for him. They're just not. So,
do you think the Cowboys will be okay now that LeBron James is no longer a fan?
You know what? That was probably the best news I heard all week when he was like, "Yeah, I don't like the Cowboys anymore." Thank God. Go away.
Right.
Go away.
Well, I know you got to go soon. You want to just go to the NFC East?
We can. That's fine.
Right on.
All right. Come to the best division in football, baby.
I mean, are they that good? I mean, is the South that bad? It's unbelievable. But
if you look at the records, I mean,
yeah,
you know, and I know the strength of schedule for like the Eagles and Cowboys aren't, you know, at the beginning of the season, it was going to be a rough schedule. And then now all of a sudden it's turned into, you know, top 10 easiest schedules for both of them. Right. And, you know, but that's why I don't like those rankings, because every year it changes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, it's never the same team.
You know, so, but I don't say this much, and it hurts me deep to my soul to say it, but I'm kind of impressed by the Giants. He's got that team fired up and playing as a team, man. And
it's funny you mentioned the Giants. They're actually picked to lose today by Vegas to the Seattle Seahawks by 3. I think the reason for that is you got a lot of people that are out for the Giants.
Yeah.
You got their tight end he's got to get his eye socket restructured. Like they got to go in and repair his eye socket. That's Bellinger's out. Bredson's out. Their cornerback Flott's out. Galladay's still out. The big tackle Neal is still out. They're going against the Seahawks team that only going to be missing their linebacker in Delaware. So, yeah. I mean, if they play as a team, I think they can definitely beat the Seahawks. But
and that's what he's got them playing as, is the whole thing, next man up, and that's kind of how they're playing. But at some point, talent ends up coming out and end up kicking you in the butt at some point, and it might be this week. You know,
Geno Smith. If his last name says Wilson on the back, he's an MVP candidate right now.
Yeah.
But because he's Geno Smith, no one's giving him the nod or giving him any recognition.
Well, I mean, we've learned a little bit about the whole Russell Wilson thing. I know he's been hurt, but maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was the system he was in.
Hurt? Come on. I'm hurt every day.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you know what? We should all be laughing at ourselves for saying the Seahawks are going to be this horrible team this year because Pete Carroll lost everything. I mean, I think all of America, if you would give them truth serum, I guarantee you 99% of people say, yeah, Seahawks are going to be horrible. Why did they get rid of, Russell Wilson? This is this is amazing what the Seahawks are doing, and especially with Geno Smith. I mean, Geno Smith basically just turned around his career this year.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Fritz, don't worry. We'll pile on the Packers here in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting to see, like, how well that team's doing out there. But, the other surprising thing is that, with the Eagles being as good as they are. I mean, when we talked in the beginning of the season, I thought it would come down to Dallas and Philadelphia winning the East. But I said the Giants and the Commanders will be playing for who finishes with the worst record in the East. So I'm kind of eating my words on that one just a little bit. But
Washington's got that on lock. They lose the Colts today.
So, I mean, I'm thinking the way Philadelphia is playing right now is going to be really hard. It's those old school football games, man, that in the East of where, from the 90s, it was always a rough game, to play. And, it didn't matter if it was whoever was at home always had the advantage, So
go ahead.
No, and the Eagles, they're not slowing down, man. I mean, we talked about it pregame that there's a lot of teams in consideration, but the Eagles are even trying to get, AK-41 from the Saints. I mean, if they start adding pieces, I mean, if they do that, I mean, it's almost like they're on the path of taking what the Rams are doing. Screw the draft picks. We want to win right now, And
well, in the same sense, you look at the Eagles draft last year, there's not a team that drafted better than the Eagles, I don't think.
No, they drafted really well last year. And that's again, we're back into, making good draft picks and picking the proper people for your system, regardless of, what positions are needed.
I was just going to say, not only did they draft really well, they also made an in-draft trade to get a bona fide wide receiver. Not only that, they also drafted a bona fide wide receiver on top of that. And to make it all great, that trade that they did with the Saints, now they've got that in their pocket because they've got that first round pick from the Saints, and that's
right. They're building. You know what I mean? It's layers in Philly right now. They're going to be good for that's what Dallas has been trying to do. And since 2010, they've been draft picks, try to build, get somebody here. But I think the Eagles killed it in this draft this year. I mean, they just did. And you're kind of, even though they're rookies, you're starting to see a lot of wow, like he's got them playing together well and everything else. And then, I look at the Cowboys and our coach thanks to Brian, he's just there, I mean, we went from a clapper to a guy that you don't see that can't make good decisions. I mean, if we'd actually find somebody that could coach, I think Dallas would hear you complaining about coaching.
I know how bad you have it down there, but what I've said it for a couple years, they need something. I think McCarthy has it. He lets it out every once in a while, but it's like, dude, let that out all the time, And
I'm not going to let you talk about stupid coaching.
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to happen.
And I like Jerry. I like how Jerry comes on and comments, he hasn't been around since the 49ers were good. So I guess he only comes on when the Niners are good. So, oh boy.
The one thing that also Philadelphia did what we're forgetting is that, they did make that trade to get Robert Quinn. So now they've got a pass rusher. Shores up that defense a little bit more,
Is it because the Bucs took a great pass rusher, great defensive lineman from the Bears, and he's nursing an ankle.
Yeah, and I don't see Quinn as I think it was a good trade for the Eagles to get somebody to help them. I don't think he's anything spectacular that's going to give them more help. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they're just getting somebody to where they could, because they switched their defensive line in and out as well. So I think it was more of a, what can we get for the least amount of, value that will help us make this thing go. And I think that's what that trade was pretty much all about. I mean, I don't think it was it a good trade? Yeah. I mean, I think it was, but doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't scare me that they got Robert Quinn. What would scare me if they got AK-41? Then we're like, okay, here we go.
Right.
You know.
Not to transition away from that, but now you got the Commanders going against the Colts. Colts are favored by 3. Colts both are not very healthy, but I think the Colts are missing less. Matt Ryan is out today, though. But the Commanders don't have a receiver, really. Dotson's out, and their tight end Cole Turner's out. Both their corners are out. Colts by 3. You good with that?
I think the Colts win. I do. I think the Colts win. The Commanders are. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, I want to say the Redskins, but maybe they shouldn't have changed their name. And I like Ron Rivera.
Can't say that word.
I know we can't say that word,
but
I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it. But I mean, I feel bad for Ron Rivera. I really do. Like, the dude's a good dude. He's a good coach, and it just seems like he has like a good year, and then it's just straight downhill from there.
Right.
So, and I think a lot has to do with their owner. That's another owner that likes to be in the press, but he gets the bad press.
Never for good reasons. Right.
Yeah. So,
and then the last game in the East, you got the Cowboys Bears. I know where you're leaning here, but you are without Elliott. Noah Brown's questionable. Linebacker Hooper's questionable. Safety Hooker's questionable. Micah Parsons is questionable but expected to play. Dalton Schultz is questionable, game time decision. Steele and Williams are both questionable. Bears are healthy. You got one offensive lineman that's out with concussion. But I know you're leaning Cowboys. Not even going to ask, but
yeah, the Bears suck.
You got another bye week this week, it looks like. So
you got.
So I had to do it because one of our coaches is a big Bear fan, so I walked over by him and said it so he could hear me. I got the me mug look. So, but no, I mean, with that coming back, we're actually going to see what Tony Pollard does. So, I mean, one, it's the Bears.
Tony might make Zeke expendable.
The thing is, Justin Fields is going to run. He runs a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I think we'll see how well the linebacking crew does today against that, and see how Parsons, if they put Parsons up, so if Parsons, they, have him kind of keeping him and Lawrence keeping him in the pocket, because you keep him in the pocket, I think that'll be his worst. He can throw from there, but I think he hasn't dealt with as much pressure this year as what he's going to get from Dallas, is what I think. So
I got to tell you, I agree with James Canada here that Tony Pollard is going to capitalize today. I really think. I think he may make them reconsider the whole Ezekiel Elliott deal.
I agree with that. That is...
Well, I mean, we talked about that earlier. I like Tony Pollard, and he needs to stay there. He knows the system well. He runs well, and but I think the Cowboys win by 14. So
wow.
Yeah. So I know I'm not as bad as Andy saying Bears 83, Cowboys 0, but I think, but I do. I think it's a 2-point. It's a 2 deficit loss for the Bears, man. With that coming back, it's another game to get him in to the groove a little bit. I think him coming back against the Lions and then coming back against the Bears is a good situation for us.
Yeah.
To where he doesn't have to do like a whole lot, but you can move stuff, start getting them, back into the groove of playing in a, game. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's like practice, but I'm a Bucks fan right now and I can't talk much shit.
But I mean,
well, hey man, I know you got your son's game about to kick off here. You got like 4 minutes, so go get yourself a seat, man.
Oh, I got my seat already set up, buddy. I'm already watching. They started the game early too, so that's why I was walking over and looking. So, but yeah, man. I mean, I'll be on there. I'll be on next week, and hopefully, probably at another football game again.
Good luck.
So,
good luck, man.
All right, boys. Have a good one.
You too.
Stay healthy. All right, man. Now number 2. Now the show has actually gotten smart, but yeah, James Cann again says the Dallas pass rush is just going to destroy the Bears' offensive line. And I do agree with that, but you got to take into consideration Justin Fields. If Justin Fields can get outside the pocket and manipulate the linebackers into sucking up or into leaving their zones to where they can hit the pass underneath them or over top of them, you never know what could happen. But
exactly. Well, I mean, just example last week. I mean, I am a firm believer of Bill Belichick run defense because he's always got schemes to mess with the other team's offense, especially the quarterback. He could not stop them last week.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And if the Bears can somehow repeat the performance like that against a really good defense, I mean, I know the line I think is set at 9.5.
It actually moved to 10 this morning.
I'm personally think it's going to be a much closer game than everybody thinks. Especially if the Bears defense can hold true to the Dallas offense. Yeah. But the key is stopping Pollard. But I think this is the chance for Pollard to show that he should be the main guy in Dallas. And this, I think he does take the opportunity and run with it today.
I think Dak's injury keeps him on the roster. Not Dak. Ezekiel Elliott's injury is going to keep him on the roster in Dallas, unfortunately. But I think that'd be the smart move to move away from him. But since we're already on the Bears, let's go north. Makes it easy. We already covered the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, God, I mean, I hate breaking or sucking oxygen about that team. But anyways, we're back north. We just discussed the Cowboys Bears. Let's go to the Cardinals at the Vikings. Now the Vikings were on the bye last week, so they should be rocking and rolling. Their injury list is very, very
minimal.
They're basically healthy.
Yeah, Hubbard's the only one questionable. So
right. Now,
questionable in the NFL means you're playing.
Yes. Yeah, basically. Now, if you look at the other side, James Conner was rolled out, I believe, yesterday.
Yep.
You've got several others.
Yeah, you got 3 linemen out.
Yes.
Matthews, Hudson, and Garcia. And you got linebacker Dennis Graddick out as well.
Correct. So. And if you're going to go by trends, Arizona has never won in Minnesota. Just hasn't happened. I mean, that's a big 0-7. I mean, Minnesota's a tough place to win. It really is. I see this game close, but I don't see the Cardinals pulling this off.
Yeah, I would take the points. I think the Cardinals can keep it closer than 3. The points are 3.5. I just think having Nuke back, it's just going to make Arizona that much better. So I think there's big play potential there. I think Arizona actually might win this one outright.
Ooh.
So, but that would help you. So,
That's true. I mean, I should be rooting for the Cardinals, but like I said, I just look at everything. I just think the healthier team wins out on this.
Usually, especially at home. So,
yes.
But
so, all right.
Wins.
Yes, the Lions and the Dolphins. Now, did you see the over-under on the points today is 51.5?
Wow. Wow.
Which, by the way, in my little money-making segment, I got a little play on that.
All right.
51.5. That kind of shows you where the defense is on here. And I do think both defenses are I mean, especially the Lions, they can't stop a wet fart.
Well, their whole secondary's out except for their free safety.
Right.
You got Mike Hughes out, Chase Lucas out, and Melifonwu, their safety, is out. Their seconds are their nickel safety is out, and Deshaun Elliott. Their defensive lineman Charleston Harris is out. So it's like, okay, we got 8 new starters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and then I mean, you look at the Dolphins side. I mean, they've got a novel on the injury list.
Well, they're all questionable though.
Exactly. So who's playing, who's not? I guess that's the question. I mean, I don't know. The Dolphins right now, I feel is the stronger team, and the Lions are going to Lions. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we all say that, hey, the Lions look better, but they still can't pull a victory out. I mean, I know that they're at home, but I see the Dolphins going in there and winning.
What is that all about in Detroit? I don't get it. When was their last playoff game that they won?
Back in the 90s, I think.
Right? It was I can't think of the coach's name, but it was Barry's only playoff win.
Right.
Unbelievable. But anyway, let's get to the craptacular game.
All right. Now you know what, Mike? I think I'm going to start with, please read me the Packers injury list. Let's start there.
Oh, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I figured you'd have that one down.
Oh, I have it, but I like for you to read it because I just want to hear it from somebody else because I'm just, No,
I got you. Let me pull it up real quick. I got fat fingers.
If you're waiting with bated breath, trust me, you're going to hear some.
All right, here we go. Packers have wide receiver Alan Lazard, cornerback Sherman Jean, Charles, both out. Tackle with David Bakhtiari, Rashawn Gary, Tyler Ellington, and wide receiver Christian Watson, who might make the game today, questionable. And the Bills have Spencer out and Jones questionable.
Okay. Notice the names on there. Your quote-unquote number one wide receiver out. Okay. Yeah. Randall Cobb, the guy that was actually been doing a decent job as Rodgers' security blanket, on IR.
Yep.
Christian Watson has played, 2 games?
He's maybe questionable with the game time decision tag.
And granted, he was full participation in practice, I believe, on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. Thursday is usually just, yeah.
I am still not confident with him playing.
That's Julio Jones's nephew.
Yeah. I mean, and then you've got Elton Jenkins with a knee and a foot.
Yep.
He's questionable. Granted, he just came back from, a long-term injury. You got Bakhtiari, which there was an article saying he's learning and trying to figure out how to deal with his bulky knee that he's had worked on 3 million times. And they haven't counted on him. We don't know if he's going to play. So there's 2 offensive linemen right there, and they're supposed to be your 2 studs on the line.
Yeah. You're only given 11 though.
Yeah. that's the funny thing.
They're getting 11, I mean. How is that?
That to me, I said this, I texted you guys this, and I mean this. If the health doesn't get better and things don't change, I only see 3 more victories the rest of this season for this team.
Wow. They could be battling with the Bears.
I think the Bears right now, if you are going to do a snapshot picture of both teams, the Bears are better.
Wow.
I'm saying that.
Wow.
Look.
So I'm assuming you don't have the Packers winning this in your pick 6.
Oh, hell no. And I'm sorry. I'm a fan. I know. I should be like Andy. They're gonna win 66-0, today or whatever. No. if the Packers put up more than 14 points, even though there's no moral victories in the NFL, that's a moral victory.
Yeah.
That's
That's not words that Packers fans are supposed to say.
No.
You sound like a lion right now.
But
moral victory.
You look at threads, you look at Twitter, you look at social media, and you see some of the fans coming out and saying, maybe it's time to throw Rodgers out on the trade market. Maybe it's time to do this and do that. They basically are saying it's over with this regime. It's over with Rodgers at the helm. It's over with how they have been doing things. It's time to move on.
You don't have anything there, though.
I know. And that's the thing that I think is very frustrating is that they put their chips all in on an aging quarterback who's actually starting to show it because of his accuracy problems. And believe me, he's got accuracy problems right now. And I don't think it's just he's throwing to spots where he feels that the receiver should be. I have seen throws where the receiver's there and it's way off. Yeah. He's not there. He's not right. And I don't know if he's just getting peppered too much or what, but he's not right.
He's not meant to be a mentor. You understand what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers needs to have the veteran receiver. He needs to have someone that he knows has been battle tested and can do what he's doing. He needs to know someone knows to work back to the quarterback when he's scrambling. He needs to know. You know what I mean? He needs that.
Sure as hell ain't Sammy Watkins.
He needs that comfortability. So
no. In all honesty, all joking aside, the Bills are coming off the bye. They're they're fairly healthy, and Josh Allen is on this mission right now.
Oh, yeah.
I just think you put these two teams together, and no offense, I know they say Rodgers always likes the prime time and always likes to be in the spotlight. Unfortunately, this is going to be the big embarrassment game for him, and I think the Bills roll at. I think I said on our Odd Couples show, I believe the final score is going to be 38-14.
Wow. All right. Well, it only leaves one place left to go since Jerry's not here. And the only game we haven't covered there is the Rams and Niners, and that always goes to the Niners. I'd hate it, but it always falls the Niners away.
I think that's going to happen anyways today.
McVay is just – yeah. Anyway. All right, let's go. Well, actually, before we go south, let's kick it to our new partner here. We're just going to.
The Crüe NFC Round Table is proud to partner with the Let's Talk Sports Network, available on YouTube, Roku, and Amazon.
And we actually just started that, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Where we actually working with them. So it's kind of nice to actually have someone ask you to be a part of their platform, if you will. But anyway, let's go south. All right, let's talk about what's important in the NFC South. Something I got to do real quick. Okay, so I made a bet or said some things, wrote a check that I'm obviously couldn't cash because apparently my Panthers jersey that I had is gone. So I'm going to have to rock the Panthers logo for a little bit here. We got the Raiders going into New Orleans to face the Saints. And believe it or not, Michael Thomas is out. Yeah, he's not playing again.
No.
What?
No.
I think it's Julio Jones' twin brother. But anyway, Thomas is out. Landry's out. And Lattimore is out. They have some people that are questionable but expected to play. Going against the Raiders, who are basically healthy. Raiders are picked for a 1.5-point favorite here. But Saints can win here. If Dalton plays well within his means, he can win here. But I don't see it happening.
I think the Raiders right now are kind of getting on that roll a little bit. The way that what's his face? Josh Jacobs is running lately. That dude's running with a mission.
Yeah.
And that so helps the the Vegas offense, especially to get, Adams involved. And, I think the Hunter Renfrow situation too, with him kind of being in and out of the lineup, if he can keep him healthy, I think the Raiders will go in there and they'll beat them. I mean,
I agree the Raiders will win this one. Again, thanks, James, for the comment. Thanks for watching. You have a Saints team that just has no real identity. Peyton's gone. Their defense that was supposed to be phenomenal is struggling. Trade rumors swirling with AK-41 now. Thomas can't stay healthy. Their big threat second receiver, Landry, can't stay healthy. Their rookie's playing quite well, but with Dalton throwing the opposition, how well will he be doing this week? Again, I think the Raiders win this one in New Orleans. And then we got the Carolina Panthers against the Atlanta Falcons for first place in the division.
Wait, repeat that again?
I think the Raiders win this one. Is the NFC South that bad? I mean, oh my God. We're going to have, if the Falcons win, you got three teams. No, if the Panthers win, you got three teams atop the division with a 3-5 record.
Yes.
Panthers hold the tiebreaker over the Bucks. Bucks hold the tiebreaker over the Falcons. Panthers hold the tiebreaker over the Falcons, if that's the case. If the Falcons win with Marcus Mariota as their quarterback, they sit atop the division by themselves. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a pick here. If anyone bets this game, I think they're stupid. But whoever wins this game isn't going to be atop the South long. I think it's going to be a up and down roller coaster throughout the rest of the season. You might see a 9-8 team win the conference.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's bad. Like somebody's got to get on a roll here in this division. I mean, somebody has to.
I don't think it's going to be this team. I mean, what is the issue in Tampa Bay? Good Lord. Your offensive coordinator can't get it right. Your linebacker's 15 yards deep in the secondary being pushed around as the initial block down the field. But there's something I got to do for the Bucs right now. Sorry for you Bucs fans.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And don't take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
So as a Bucs fan, should be used to it. Been there before. A lot of these fair weather fans that have jumped on since Brady. I mean, it's terrible to say that as a Bucs fan. You know, I'm used to losing, but for being honest, it's like being a Cubs fan. You're just kind of immune to it. You strap up your bootstrap every week and you go watch the game and then you punch a door and go back to bed.
Yeah. Well, I'm just look. I know I blow you some crap when the Bucks lose, but I kind of look. I am absolutely shocked, especially defensively, where these holes are in this team. I mean, they should have, in my opinion, they should have stayed around a lot longer in that game against Baltimore than they should have.
Well, the reason the Baltimore game was it was a snapshot of the Bucs completely. You script 13 offensive plays. You score your first two drives, right? Great. Let's look at the first punt, right? Baltimore punts the ball deep in the Bucs territory, and our special teams, I don't know, let's just run into the goddamn ball. 1st and 10, or 1st and goal to go for the Ravens. Bucs hold them to 3. The offense comes out, scores. Great scripted play. After halftime, the Baltimore Ravens made adjustments. They decided they weren't going to let the Bucs get that 3 to 5 every carry. They forced the Bucs to run quick passes. And then Byron Leftwich just can't make adjustments to what's been going on in the game. If Bruce Arians is there and they're scripting the whole play, I think it's totally different. If they go through and have 45 plays they choose from, it's totally different. But it feels like Byron Leftwich is over there with a menu, just picking random plays because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I don't know. But we were watching the game, and you see the Julio Jones motion 3 times in a row. Motion, motion, motion. And I go, he's going to give the ball to Julio on a sweep. On a sweep. The man barely can run as is. You put him in a confined space with no lead blocker in front of him on 4th and 2, and you run a sweep? Stupid. You can't tell me that play calling has nothing to do with the Bucs losing. You can't tell me that the interior offensive line has nothing to do with the Bucs losing. You can't tell me that Tom Brady not trusting his offensive line has nothing to do with the Bucs losing. You can't tell me that the defense not being able to get off the field has nothing to do with the Bucs losing. You can't tell me that the Bucs offense not being able to stay on the field has nothing to do with the Bucs losing. This is a shit show right now, and it is getting ugly. If they do not right this ship soon, they're going to be looking at the bottom of the division.
That was a rant.
That's what I got for you.
That is a rant. Holy moly. And I thought I was mad.
It's just awful. When you watch a team with that much talent, I mean, offensive-wise, they have all the weapons they need, except for the interior offensive line. And once again, you see we're going to stick with what we got. Well, you know what? We stuck with what we got last year in the secondary, and look what it got you. You stuck with what you got with your offensive line, and look what it got you. Finally, they put Nick Leverett in, who played amazingly well for being a, third-string guard. So now you got Hainsey, who can't seem to get a defensive lineman's arms down. Dude blocked 3 passes last week. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking about it. Go.
I was going to ask a question, but you're done.
Go ahead.
Now that they're what they call the mini buy, correct?
I guess, yeah.
With the divorce final and everything, can Brady theoretically help this team get back to where the expectations are?
Okay.
Now that he doesn't have that distraction.
That distraction's still going to be there. You go through a divorce and you got to figure out how I'm going to balance my work life, my social life, my family life. You got to figure out how you're going to, balance the kids and everything. And that's what sucks about this is the media's running with it, and they're just throwing Brady's personal life out there, right? His kids are affected by that. You can't tell me they're not. They're old enough to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's just awful. But so you got him worrying about that. But I'm not even worried about the off-the-field stuff with Brady. What I am worried about is him trusting his offensive line, him getting on the same page as his wide receivers. You got a bye week. Nobody should be able to take an extra day off this week. You should be in there going through routes, going through situations. You got the extra week to do an install. I mean, you should come out against the Rams, who hopefully get the crap beat out of them by the Niners, and you get an opportunity to build. If you can build some momentum going into the Rams game, or going into the game after the Rams game, you might have something there, but you got the bye week right after that. So you're going to have another time to, build your offensive philosophies and game plan.
Yeah. Isn't Arians like a part of the
I think that might be part of the problem though too. You got Bruce Arians there. He didn't really leave, right? So you got players like, well, this ain't what we did with Bruce, and Bruce is standing right there. You know what I mean? Right. So you got Todd Bowles looking over his shoulder all the time. Is that what Bruce would do? Would Bruce do that? And I don't think you can coach that way. And you shouldn't have players questioning your every move. I'm not saying they are. I'm not there, but I know it happens in my professional place of work. So right. Imagine when you multiply it by millions. That's what's on the line every day.
Right.
So
it's in my opinion, I think, like I said, this is going to be the key time for the Bucs to get right. I think everybody needs to sit down. They need to just say, hey, look, we've got this many weeks left. Let's get on a run. Let's get on a roll. Well, I know there's been distractions. I know there's been this and that. Now it's time to play some football.
Yeah. So you got some, I don't want to say plays for us, but you got some plays for us?
Of course I do.
Let's kick it.
All right. Get that couch change ready because I've got 5 plays that will maybe make you a little more change. All right, we're going to start with the Vegas Raiders at the Saints game. You're going to take the under of 49.5.
Yeah, I think it's actually moved to 51.
You still take the under.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying. You got a little wiggle room now.
And remember what I said about the Miami and Detroit game. I said I have a play on it. I take the under at 51.5. That's where I got it at. So take the under at 51.5. In today's game, take Elijah Moore of the Jets over 2.5 receptions. And then do New England minus 1.5. And you're going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 10.5.
Wow. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly in like 40 years.
I know.
It's unbelievable to think about. But, well, let's get to you with this question real quick here. You're 2 days away from the trade deadline. If you're GM of the Packers, what do you do?
What a question, because you could go so many different directions with this because right now this team is in disarray. I honestly think at the moment it's receiver is the problem. You need to get somebody bona fide in there. There's been lots of rumors with the DJ Moores and the Chase Claypool and stuff like that. But the biggest rumor that just hit this week, and I think they're really pushing to get this, is to get Jerry Jeudy from Denver.
Yeah.
And it sounds like if the trade were to go down, that the Packers would trade Amari Rodgers and a second-round pick to Denver for Jerry Jeudy. I wouldn't mind it. The only thing I hate is giving up the draft pick. But Amari Rodgers, they can have him. In my opinion, Amari Rodgers has been way disappointing. Has potential that just he won't, for some reason, is just not getting unlocked. And my personal opinion, they could just get rid of him. They can have him. Otherwise, if the Packers are going to go to route to try and obtain draft capital, I think you start thinking about dealing some of your maybe, I wouldn't say older veterans, but I would maybe make the decision on Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. I know you've got the 2 backs. You can always draft one in the draft. I think maybe one of those 2 trading away to get very comparable draft picks, I think it's worth a shot.
Right on. Well, I'll answer the question before we go into pick 6 myself. Okay.
You got it.
If I am Jason Light, I'm calling about Josh Allen, not the quarterback, the linebacker from Jacksonville. You just lost Shaq Barrett. You're going to need someone with some sort of motor out there. Not saying that Anthony Nelson and Carl Nassib and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka aren't good enough to start, although I don't think Shoyinka is ready yet, but he's starting out of necessity because you let go of a guy like JPP. But I would definitely call on Josh Allen. I think I might move Sean Murphy-Bunting to see if I can get some draft capital or maybe even in the trade for Josh Allen. I mean, I don't know. I just think you got to try to get some pieces to show your team that you're actually feel you're still in it. You know what I mean? Show them you got some confidence in it. But those are my thoughts on it. I don't know. Pick 6?
Let's do it.
So the only pick 6 I can't find is Andy's. I don't know if you got him or if we're just going to go without him and just have him post him after his teams win, and then he can just say he's got all the teams that won. I don't know. It just sounds like something Andy would do.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he hasn't said anything. So we'll surprise everybody later.
So Stout's got the boys, the Eagles, the Jets, the Titans, the Bills, and the Bengals. And out of respect to him, he always takes the Vikings, so we'll just give him the Vikings as well. Jerry's got Bucks, Niners, boys, Raiders, Jets, and Titans.
Oh, you already took an L.
What's that?
You already took an L.
Yeah, I know. I told him. I warned him. I told him the Bucks would lose by 11. It was just. Yeah, thanks, James. I agree. I've got the Jags, Cowboys, Finns, Vikings, Jets, and Bills. And I think you're all that's left, right?
I am all that's left, and I'm kind of going off the beaten path of what I usually do because I've just got some feelings on these games. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing Titans, Seahawks, Niners, Commanders, Bills, Bengals.
Titans. Rookie starting today.
Willis era will begin today.
You think so?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty bold. Well, before we kick out of here, we got like 4 minutes. I do have last week's highlights if I can find them. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Sorry, I thought I had last week's highlights and the Bucks highlights, but for some reason they're missing. I don't know what it is. I don't know why the highlights aren't here. It might be because it had been a week where the Bucks lose twice on one dang. There's no way I'm putting that up there. You know what I mean? How fair is that? That's not fair to me. But,
no, it's
no,
not.
I got it
fair.
covered. It's loading. It's just taking its own sweet time, kind of like the Bucks offense usually. But you guys going to be able to do? Oh, you're not doing the show this week. You're going on vacation, yeah?
Yeah, I am on vacation this week, so there will be no odd couple show. But the following week, Andy and I are doing our little odd couple show. I think we're going to be doing it on Tuesday nights.
Right on. And what day are you leaving? Is the beer stocked? I'm just asking for a friend.
I'm leaving sometime next week.
I'll just sit outside. Don't worry about it. But, dude, this is really taking a long time to load. Oh, damn it. All right, here it is.
Here are some highlights of Week 7.